Okay, hi to all. So I just thought I'd bring you along with this one. If you remember from earlier on in my videos, the cylinder head off my B31 was in a sorry old state. It had a cracked fin under this side somewhere, and the valve guides were toast, the valves were toast, the seats were gone. Anyway, that is still off for repair, but my eBay addiction led me to this, which is, it's even the same casting number, 65 1457, or is that a 1? I can't remember. Now this doesn't have any cracked fins. I managed to get those screws out, by the way, for the oil passages. Yeah, no cracked fins. I think mine was gone there. The seats, the intake's quite recessed. Exhaust ain't too bad. I'm just wondering. Oh, I took the guides out when I bought it. It did come with guides, and they weren't horrendous. Not as bad as mine on the original. And I managed to press these out without too much trouble. Got the cylinder head in the oven, and the nice thing with these heads, you can put them on the press like that. And anyway, so I'm going to get this in the sandblast cabinet and see what we can come up with. So I'll just do a couple of a before and after shot, and we'll see. Try not to break any fins now. See what we can achieve. I've blocked off the oil passage in there. I don't want this, you know, stuff sand getting in there with the blast media. So yeah, we'll give it a whirl, and I'll cut back in when I've done it. Okay, so yeah, that was a good couple of hours fun blasting in the my very basic blast cabinet over there. Some aluminium oxide blast media. It always comes up well. Did trip the circuit breakers a couple of times with my compressors set up. I've got a reserve tank, a reservoir, and 2 compressors working in tandem in all the mess. And yeah, it's a little bit too much for my circuit breakers in the garage, but yeah, it's come up really well. The only problem is this thing will flash rust right in front of your very eyes. Yeah, especially touching it with greasy hands. That's a good point. I should have put some gloves on. But the castings are so rough on these old things. That's not dirt. That's cast iron. Yeah, they're very basic compared to, well, obviously it's 70 odd years old, but yeah, getting between the fins and everything. But yeah, it's come up well. Oh, I'm already getting crap on it. I really need to get this a little bit of primer on it, so I did cover up the holes for the feed for the oil. I blanked them off, didn't want to get media in there obviously. But yeah, we'll mask this off, a couple of other little bits in here, and we'll get some primer on it. Just a bit flash rusting, which it'll already be. It's quite humid today, so you can almost hear it fizzing. But yeah, surprising what you can achieve with some of these basic, you know, Chinesium cabinets. As long as you've got a good supply of air. Yeah, a little bit frustrating, but yeah, you can achieve it. Okay guys, we'll get some paint on. Okay, hi to all. So yeah, the cylinder, I must admit I have jumped ahead a little bit on the cylinder head. Just a bit to get this finished. Again, nothing overly complicated with these rockers, valve springs. You got the the nut, little copper washer, and then you've got a thrust washer on this side to control the side-to-side movement. Could have done with replacing those, but I cleaned them up a little bit. And then you've got on this side, you've got a spring and then a very slim washer, again just to control that side play. The rockers themselves are used. This was a better used one. Again, still quite a lot of wear underneath, but better than the one I had, because when I took this apart, the original cylinder head, there wasn't even a cap on the valve. So yeah, it was completely destroyed. I should have got that out. I don't know what I've done with it now, but never mind. The intake is I think this is the original one. Again, I did try buying some used ones, but they all suffer quite badly. Again, they've got the little cap on the valve in there. Some new springs. Cleaned up the retainers. Must admit, did struggle to get these spindles in. You do have to, well, I did on mine anyway. I had to warm them up quite hot to drift them in. But yeah, it's cleaned up quite nice. I always use this the engine enamel VHT, and then bake it. It's still quite brittle. It doesn't take much to chip it off. I use a primer as well. One second, let me turn this over. Problem is now I can't balance it as well, but you'll get the drift. What I did do, so these are new valves and guides from Dragonfly, UK. The valve seats weren't too bad, but I noticed that the intake had suffered the most. It receded quite a lot into the cylinder head. There was quite a ridge. Again, remember from the other video, this isn't the original cylinder head. This was one I got off eBay and was in better condition than mine, which is still at an engineering place. So I thought I'd have a go myself, and so I did cut the valves seats with one of these cheap eBay Indian valve cutting jobs, Chinese, whatever they are. And you know what? For the money, this wasn't a lot of money, it's as cheap as anything for soft cast iron heads. They cut just fine, you know. I wish I'd have videoed it now, but I got carried away and cracked on with it. Obviously these won't cut, you know, hardened valve seats, and there's only so much you can repair, you can do. But yeah, so I cut them. The exhaust didn't hardly need any. That was in quite good condition, the seat, so I just very lightly cut it and use some valve cutting paste just to get the seal good. The intake, like I said, recessed quite a bit. So that took, like I say, only a couple of turns, 2 or 3 turns to cut. And obviously you can only go so far. But in the service sheet, which is 303, the BSA service sheet, it even gives you the size of the cutter, 1 7/8, which was this one, 45 degrees. Like I say, you're not going to win, you know, any engineering awards with these sort of tools, but yeah, it says there, valve grinding should only be attempted if the seats are not pitted. If badly pitted, the seats must be recut, and a special tool 613305 is available. So yeah, just slightly did it, and then ground the valves in. Yeah, quite happy with that. Like I say, it's not perfect, but it'll seal. You know, it's not one of the modern superbike engine with these multi-radius valve faces and seats and what have you. Yeah, we need to get this back on the bike, and we're not too far off now. Very close. So yeah, with those little blast cabinets and a bit of patience. Oh, the valve guides are new as well. They were from Dragonfly. I heated it up. We must have been up to sort of 160 degrees, something like that, and pressed them out. And the new ones drifted in quite nicely. I know a few guys talk about putting the valve guides in the freezer first, heating this up in the freezer, but I find with the valve guides, because obviously they still need drifting in, if they're still, freezing cold, you put them in a hot cylinder head, it actually cools the area where the valve guide is going in. So you start tapping, all of a sudden you're getting resistance until the valve guide sort of matches the same temperature, and then it drifts in again. So to be honest, you're probably better off just leaving them at room temperature, getting this super hot, and then using a dedicated valve drift tool and a nice heavy copper mallet to drift them in. So yeah, anyway, thanks for listening to that, and we will get this back on the bike. Oh yeah, I used a little bit of assembly lube in there. Yeah, it's come up quite nice, that. Thanks guys, catch you in the next one.